What's up, YouTube? I have been inspired by my best friend Melspirations to work on my stretching. She's doing a 30-day yoga challenge. You should go check it out if you haven't yet. But I wanted to work on my middle splits because I lost my middle splits years ago and haven't been able to get them back. So instead of doing a 30-day yoga challenge, I'm going to be stretching 5 times a week, working on getting my middle splits back, and I'm going to document the journey with you. So hopefully you either join me or you have fun watching. I'm going to throw in different stretches for different body parts as well, so it doesn't get boring for you or for me. But hopefully by the end of 4 weeks of 5 days of stretching my middle splits, I will have my middle splits back. So we'll see. This is the beginning of the journey, and I hope you enjoy joining me. Let's go. So we're going to start with a warm-up. We're going to do 3 different squats. We're going to start with our middle squats and then go into a right leg squat and then a left leg squat. This just helps warm up the body and warm up the legs so we don't pull a muscle while we are stretching. We're now going to go into a butterfly stretch. We can start with little pulses to begin opening the hips up. We can then go ahead and push down on one leg and then push down on the other to just focus on opening either sides of the hips. But then we can push down on both at the same time to really open up those hips. From there we can lean forward. We want to focus on getting the stomach to the ground, not our head. And then we can push our elbows into our knees and bring our stomach down to the ground so that we're really opening everything up. After that, we're opening up into a straddle. We want to start straightening our legs to work out those micro bends and get rid of those micro bends. We can start this with a pointed toe and then move into a flexed toe so that we're working out more of the muscles. Next, we're going to do side bend. If we are reaching over and touching our foot, we really want to focus on bringing that hand in front and having our chest point more up towards the ceiling rather than down towards the floor. Otherwise, you're not effectively stretching your side correctly. From here, we can just do little baby pulses, rocks forward. We're again working on opening the hips more, getting our straddle deeper, and it's just a micro way to deepen that straddle. After that, we want to reach forward, and we really want to focus on bringing our stomach down to the floor, not our head or our hands. This is what is actually going to open up the straddle. And then we can go ahead and flex the feet to get a deeper stretch more in our hamstrings. Absolute best way to get your middle splits is to just hold it. Hold it for at least a minute. That is what is really going to get that middle split. out of it. We don't want to rush our way out of it. We can take our time to bring those legs together, to shake it out, to rock those hips back and forth. Again, we don't want to cause an injury, so slow is okay. We can then do a forward fold in a pike, and again focusing on bringing that stomach down to the knees before the head, and then going back into a butterfly and repeating what we did before to refocus on opening the hips again. We can then move into standing forward fold, kind of rock the hips back and forth to just help the hips feel better, and then move into a lunge. In this lunge, we're focusing on turning our foot out and pushing our knee out and dropping our opposite hip down to the floor, because we're not trying to work on our forward splits, we're working on our middle splits and opening up the hips. So now I'm rocking back and forth to kind of open up my hips still while in a lunge. And from here we can transition nicely into a open leg squat and focus on pushing that leg back. If we keep our heel on the floor, we're focusing more on our hip. Go ahead and go into a half middle split. This is having one leg out while the other leg's bent, and just focusing on bringing those hips, that stomach down to the floor again, because again, this is how we open up the hips. Finally, we are rolling into our actual middle splits. The trick here is, again, to just hold it, sink into it, breathe into the hips, and focus on releasing the muscles and opening them up. It's definitely best to have your arms out, because then you are welcoming the openness. So holding it with your arms out rather than scrunched under you, or even having them under your legs, is the best way to really engage with the opening process. Frog stretch. It's personally more comfortable for me to open up my hips with my feet behind me. So now again, we're just going to focus on holding this, breathing into it, and letting our hips drop deeper into the stretch for our middle splits. Now coming out of it, we can just rock those knees back and forth, just to kind of counterbalance all the work we just put into opening our inner thighs. It's good to kind of close it up after as well. guys for joining me for day 1 of stretching my middle splits. After 10 minutes, my middle splits went from maybe being about this far to about this far. So it goes to show what warming up and really putting in time to stretch does for your body. It really does work wonders, so I really do recommend it. I'm gonna keep going. I'm actually hoping that maybe if I stay consistent with this, I'll have my middle splits back in like 2 weeks, but we'll see. Either way, you'll get to see with me. Next time I'm definitely bringing something for my face though, so I'm not putting it on the floor. I did my best to not let it touch, but yeah, I need a yoga mat or something, so I'm going to get that going for myself. Anyways, hopefully this inspired you to stretch too. I will see you tomorrow for the next one. Have a beautiful day. Goodbye. My middle splits literally went from maybe this far. Oh no.